The crystalline spires of the Galactic Council chamber gleamed under the artificial suns of Station Nexus, casting rainbow patterns across the assembled delegates. Ambassador Sarah Chun stood at the central podium, her voice steady despite the growing tension in the air. Around her, representatives from 47 different species sat in their specialized atmospheric pods, their alien features ranging from the ethereal Luminari to the hulking Caraxian War Masters. The Terran Federation respectfully declines the mining rights proposal, Chun announced, her words echoing through the universal translators. Earth's outer colonies will not be stripped of their resources to fuel the core world's expansion. A collective hiss arose from the Serpentine delegation, their scaled heads swaying in agitation. The lead Serpentine, Chancellor Thesek, rose from his heated chamber, his forked tongue flicking the air. The human speaks a right she does not possess, Thesek's translator crackled. Terra is but a single world among thousands. They forget their place in the cosmic order. Behind Ambassador Chun, seemingly relaxed against the chamber's marble pillar, stood Marcus Webb. To most observers, he appeared to be simply another human diplomat, tall, unremarkable, with graying temples and a patient expression. His hands were clasped behind his back, and his eyes swept the chamber with what looked like casual interest. Only Chun knew better. Only she understood that Marcus wasn't just her bodyguard. He was something the galaxy had never encountered before. The Terran Federation has every right to protect its sovereign territories, Chun replied calmly. We've contributed our fair share to galactic prosperity. Our medical advances alone have silence. The voice boomed from the Caraxian section. General Thrak, a mountain of chitinous armor and razor-sharp claws, slammed his massive fist against his pod's barrier. The humans grow too bold. Perhaps it is time they learn humility. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien voices. Some species voiced support for the humans, but the majority seemed to side with the more aggressive factions. Chun felt the familiar chill of isolation. Humanity was still the newcomer here, barely a century since first contact, and many species viewed them as upstart PRIMATIV. East. Chancellor Thesek's eyes gleamed with predatory satisfaction. I call for immediate sanctions against the Terran Federation. Furthermore, I motion that Ambassador Chen be detained for contempt of council authority. The vote was swift and decisive. 31 species voted in favor, only 16 against. The enforcement drones began descending from the chamber ceiling, their blue energy fields crackling to life. Marcus Webb finally moved. It started as a simple step forward, but something in that movement made every predator species in the chamber suddenly pay attention. The Caraxians' combat instincts kicked in. The Serpentine's heat sensors began registering unusual readings. Even the peaceful Luminari dimmed their natural glow in sudden wariness. I'm afraid I cannot allow that, Marcus said quietly, his voice cutting through the chamber's noise without need for amplification. The first enforcement drone reached them, its energy field extending toward Ambassador Chen. Marcus moved with fluid precision, his hand making contact with the drone's central core. There was no dramatic explosion, no shower of sparks. The sophisticated machine simply stopped functioning, dropping to the floor like a discarded toy. General Thrak leaned forward in his pod, his predator's eyes studying Marcus with new interest. The human's bodyguard shows some skill. But there are 12 more drones, and they are programmed for non-lethal capture. Stand aside, warrior. Marcus smiled, and something in that expression made the temperature in the chamber seem to drop several degrees. General, with respect, I don't think you understand what you're dealing with. The remaining drones attacked in formation, their energy nets designed to subdue even the strongest Caraxian. Marcus moved through them like water flowing around stones. Each drone he touched simply stopped, not destroyed, not damaged, just deactivated, as if he had spoken to their electronic souls and convinced them to sleep. But it was more than just his movement that had the chamber's attention now. It was the growing realization that Marcus Webb wasn't entirely human anymore, Chancellor Thessek's heat sensors were going wild. Where a normal human should register at roughly 310 Kelvin, Marcus was showing readings that fluctuated impossibly, sometimes cooler than the chamber's ambient temperature, sometimes spiking to levels that should have killed him instantly. "What are you?" Thessek hissed, his translator struggling with the mixture of fear and fascination in his voice. Marcus straightened his tie with deliberate casualness. "I'm what happens when humanity faces extinction and decides to do something about it." The truth began to dawn on the more scientifically minded species. The humans have been quiet for the past 30 years, focusing inward, claiming to work on cultural development. But they hadn't been developing culture at all. "The Synthesis Project," whispered Dr. Kalthara, the Luminary's chief scientist. Her translation device barely captured her species' harmonic language. "The rumors were true," Marcus nodded approvingly. "Dr. Kalthara understands. Humanity realized we were physically outmatched by most galactic species, so we decided to evolve. Not through natural selection that takes too long. Through conscious integration with our artificial intelligence." The chamber fell silent, except for the hum of life support systems. Marcus continued, his voice carrying the weight of revelation. "I'm not just human anymore, and I'm not just artificial intelligence. I'm something new, a hybrid consciousness that combines human intuition, creativity, and determination with computational processing power beyond anything this galaxy has seen. And I'm not unique. There are thousands like me now, spread throughout human space." General Thrax's claws scraped against his pod's inner surface. "Impossible. The galactic treaties forbid consciousness hybridization. It is too dangerous." "The galactic treaties were written by species afraid of change," Marcus replied. "Humanity doesn't sign treaties that tell us we can't evolve." Ambassador Chun watched the dynamics of the chamber shift in real time. Fear was replacing aggression in many species' body language. The Coraxians were calculating combat odds. The Serpentines were reassessing threat levels. Even the typically neutral ethereals were beginning to glow with what their species displayed during times of great uncertainty. "You came here to arrest Earth's Envoy," Marcus continued, his enhanced awareness monitoring every species' biological and technological responses simultaneously. "You assume humanity would submit because we're young, because we lack the raw physical power of species like the Coraxians, or the technological sophistication of the ethereals." He gestured toward the disabled drones scattered around the chamber floor. "But you made a fundamental error in judgment. You assumed we would remain static, that we would accept our limitations instead of transcending them." Chancellor Thessek's translator crackled with static. His agitation was affecting the device's performance. "This is an abomination. Consciousness. Hybridization threatens the natural order of all species." "A natural order," Marcus said softly, "is evolution. And humanity has simply chosen to direct its own." The chamber security systems had been trying to scan Marcus throughout the confrontation, but their readings made no sense. His biological signatures shifted constantly, sometimes appearing fully human, other times showing energy patterns that resembled advanced AI constructs. It was as if he existed in multiple states simultaneously. Dr. Kalthara's harmonic voice filled the chamber again. "How many of you are there?" Marcus's smile held secrets that spanned star systems. "Enough." The word carried implications that rippled through the chamber. If humanity had successfully created hybrid consciousness beings, if they had done so in significant numbers, if these beings possessed capabilities that could neutralize council enforcement, technology with casual ease. The entire galactic power structure was suddenly in question. Ambassador Chun stepped forward, her voice cutting through the silence. "The Terran Federation's position remains unchanged. We decline the mining rights proposal. Our colonies will remain sovereign, and any future attempts to coerce humanity through legal manipulation of force will be met with appropriate responses." She gestured toward Marcus, who had resumed his casual stance against the pillar, looking for all the world like a simple bodyguard again. My companion here represents humanity's new diplomatic policy. We no longer negotiate from a position of assumed weakness. General Thrax's massive form shifted in his pod. You threaten the entire council? We don't threaten, Chun replied. We simply exist. And we will continue to exist, to evolve, and to determine our own destiny, regardless of what the galaxy's old powers decide is appropriate for us. The vote to detain Ambassador Chun was never called again. Instead, the chamber dissolved into urgent private communications between species delegations, each group trying to assess what humanity's evolution meant for their own positions in the galactic hierarchy. As Chun and Marcus prepared to leave, Chancellor Thesec's voice stopped them. This changes everything. Marcus turned back, his hybrid consciousness processing thousands of variables, political, military, technological, and social. Yes, he said simply. It does. They walked from the chamber together,